السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين ورحمة الله للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. We are in Surah Al-Baqarah still. Alhamdulillah. We are in the part that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about divorce. And as the progress in the surah as we're moving forward, this is the part that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the unit that the humanity is made of, husband and wife. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives so much emphasis on this. And the time of this separation, the time of divorce, is a time that is very sensitive and a time that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about so much in details to have the rules and regulations of how to do this without any misunderstanding, the clarity in it. So the rights will be preserved for both parties. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the right of the children, infants and so forth. And how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encourages us with words like, hudud Allah, this is the boundary of Allah, and then ihsan, the level of ihsan, when you even at the time of the most difficult relationships, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us to be sensitive and to hold on to the best of manners and the high level of moral values. So we'll continue inshallah. The microphone?
Yeah.
You have it?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فامسكوهن بمعروف أو سرحوهن بمعروف ولا تمسكوهن ضرارا لتعتدوا ومن يفعل ذلك فقد ظلم نفسه ولا تتخذوا آيات الله هزوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم وما أنزل عليكم من الكتاب والحكمة يعظكم به واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله بكل شيء عليم.
جزاك الله خيرا.
And when you have divorced women and they have fulfilled the term of their prescribed period, either take them back on reasonable basis or set them free on reasonable basis. But do not take them back to hurt them. And whoever does that, then he has wronged himself. And treat not the verses of Allah as a jest. But remember Allah's favors on you and that which He has sent down to you of the book. and Al-Hikmah, Prophet's Sunnah, legal ways, Islamic jurisprudence, whereby He instructs you, and fear Allah and know that Allah is all aware of everything.
We tend to not to have fear unless we see the penalty in front of us. Okay? So those who are pious, when they are advised, they adhere to advice quickly. Those who are not, they do not adhere to the advice unless they see the penalty in front of them. They see the harm of not following the advice. Then they will stay away, or they will, hold on to the directions and the guidance. Okay? You have when people have an issue, dispute, and you get a judge among them, somebody who try to make up the issue here and make nice, okay, and try to advise him and so forth with the advice from the Quran and Sunnah and so forth. You find it is easy for those who are not really fearing Allah not to listen, or even to use the guidance into manipulation. Okay? But if you take them both, the same situation, and put them in a court with a secular court with a judge, they'll behave well. That person will behave well, and he will not, he will adhere to the guidance and the decision, because they know that if he doesn't, there is a policeman right there who will take him. He knows that there is a jail there, and he knows that there are criminals in this jail, and all of this picture is clear to him. So he's now has fear and has respect to what he's listening to and so forth, and respect to the judge. It's amazing. It's amazing. You find, people have disputes, and the clarity of the matter is there from the Quran and Sunnah. Okay? And the admission that will follow whatever decision that that is guidance that's given. But then the person who is making the decision does not have a police, does not have a jail, right? So they don't care afterwards. Even if the decision made and so forth, they wouldn't care. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us this here. Telling us, when a divorce happened, okay, and the period is done, do not manipulate this. That you either take them with ma'ruf or let them go with ma'ruf. Ma'ruf is goodness and kindness and that which is known. Right? You can take it in both meaning. That meaning the custom of the area. What you usually do. Okay, what is agreed upon generally in the society that you are in, right? If a woman to be respected, how you deal with her and so forth, right? And how to be sensitive in this. And ma'ruf also meaning that which is good and pious and a high standard. Okay? So you either hold her with ma'ruf or let her go with ma'ruf. Okay? And then do not hold her diraran, okay, to cause some harm, okay, to transgress. There are a lot of situations, many situations are like this, okay, that the daraja, the level that a man, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give a man over a woman, which is to give a divorce. Okay, he can give the divorce. And he can take her back after the divorce if the period is not done. Okay? That, you know, a man when he thinks that he's hurt and his wife is giving him a difficult time and so forth, they manipulate this. Okay, you're doing this, and now, and they think now they are really a man because he has a power. Okay, no, the true man is the one who is submitting to the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who gives, not the one who find out how he can take. Okay? So that energy, the bad energy of divorce and so forth, that the man will say no, or yes, I'm going to divorce, and then hold her back right before the time of the period is over. But the intention is not to keep her, okay, or not to get to the level of now going back to the way it was. No, I'm not going to divorce you now. I'm going to take you back, but not to the way it was, to some other ways. Okay? This matter is never going to be the same as before. Okay? Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you do not do this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the words that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala using, do not take the ayat of Allah as a mockery. Allah, you know, Halim, Allah forbearing in this, advising this. Okay? Because you don't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Because you don't see the punishment that is coming. Okay? You think that, you know, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful. You don't see the hammer over your head. Okay? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds you with it by saying you're going to wrong yourself. That is a very scary word. Very scary word. Okay? If you know what the punishment is, you know, if you do this, you're going to be in jail for a year, for example. Okay? And now you know that if you weigh the matter now, either a year in jail or you submit to such and such and such. Okay, agree to this and that. If you don't agree this and you weigh it, but you know both. You know both. Okay, you know the difficulty they're in, and you know the difficulty of a year in jail. Go ahead. You want to break the rule? Go ahead and break it. There's a chance you're going to be taken, and this is the penalty. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you're going to wrong yourself. Okay? Like, you don't know what the punishment here is going to be. Right? And the one who says is Allah, and saying that death is coming, and there is no fixing things after this. And what comes after death, you know it. We told you what it was, what it is, and what's happened to you at the time of death, what happened to you in the grave, and what happened to you at the day of judgment, and what happens in hellfire. Okay? And this matter, it is not now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only making a decision in it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the right to those who are wronged to make a decision. So here's your wife. If there is any issues here and you hold in her rights, then the day of judgment will come, and she will be given the chance now to choose what to do. To forgive you or to take now from you. To take. And now you have no ability whatsoever. That is all with what? You're going to wrong yourself. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now telling us to have taqwa. So here is taqwa here. Yani what after you're going to wrong yourself, it's very scary, because when you say, you know, have taqwa, you could say it in a way, okay, be pious, or be careful, protect yourself, because when you are told to have taqwa, they could have those two meanings in it. Both meanings are in it. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you that this is, you're going to wrong yourself, and now I'm advising you to protect yourself. That's very scary, very scary. And we do this when we deal like with children. We remind them if they do this, something will happen, and you tell them exactly what's going to happen, right? So the child would see the matter clear there, and then they'll be, they will adhere to what you're saying, or to think about it. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically telling a man, do not abuse your right. Do not abuse your right. تفضل.
وإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فلا تعذروهن أن ينكحن أزواجهن إذا تراضوا بينهم بالمعروف ذلك يوعظ به من كان منكم يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ذلكم أزكى لكم وأطهر والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون.
جزاك الله خيرا.
And when you have divorced women and they have fulfilled the term of their prescribed period and do not prevent them from marrying their husbands.
Yes. Yes, go ahead. Mm.
If they mutually agree on reasonable basis. This is an admonition of him among you who believes in Allah and the last day. That is more virtuous and purer for you. Allah knows and you do not.
Yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about a specific situation here when it happens. Those on the outside do not know the dynamic that happens inside. What's happened between the husband and wife, no one really knows it. No matter how you listen to them, there are issues there and things there that you don't know. No matter what information you get, you will not know. Whether it is good or bad, but there are things that you just will not know. Only both of them know it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling those that are around them, that are around this dynamic, okay, that when the ajal comes and the 3 periods or the 3 menses are done or the 3 purification are done, and then they decided, they meaning here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not stop them from marrying their husbands. The husband, you marry the husband, he's a husband, so how you can marry someone that you're married to? Meaning that the matter just happened and they decided, okay, to go back together. Okay, and get married again with a new contract and so forth, and new aqd nikah. Okay. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warning those around them. Okay. This is on the side of the woman. Do not hold her back. Do not say, no, this is not going to happen. Okay? And why? Because there are issues in between them that you do not know it. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning. Okay? It doesn't matter what you perceive. You perceive that this is so much harm, so much this and that, and there is a better way for her. We will protect her. We will take care of her. Do you think she does not have a family and this and that? And then she's saying, please, I want to go back. And no, we're not going to let you go back. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, be careful. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again put in these beautiful warnings. Beautiful warnings. The warning here is telling those who are doing this, this is not something to be done by someone who believes in Allah and the Day of Judgment. That is so huge. Another word, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this can bring you out of Islam. Just read this. Read this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it in a very subtle way and so forth. Not holding hammer in it, it's just telling you, you believe in Allah and the Day of Judgment. If you do not do this. You're going to go with your emotion, with the protection of your own daughter or your own sister or your, be careful. If they want to go back, let them go back. Do not use your common sense here or your smartness thinks that no, this is not. Unless there is a harm that's obvious, right? Meaning that if the wife is abused, physically abused, emotionally abused, and she's mentally is affected, and now she's going to go back to the because it's been going on for years, and you see the effect of the abuse on her and so forth. Now she does not quite know what's good for her at this time, okay? Because she's going to go back, and the same thing will happen over and over again as it happened before. Okay. In other words, this matter needs professional to deal with this now. This man needs some kind of treatment and so forth. That's different. That is different. Okay. But we're talking about things that is not obvious on the external look. Okay. And you get as if you are the one who is in the thick of things here. No. You take her away from this, there could be harm, great harm that would happen. Okay? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is an advice. Okay? يُوعَظُ بِهِ. This is an advice that is given to you. See, when the word advice is given, that means the one who's giving you advice knows something that you do not know. Because if it is known by you, it is not going to be advice. If I want to give you some direction here, and the direction is clear, and the problem is there, and I'll tell you, look, if you do this, this will happen. If you do this will happen. And give you cause and effect that happens, and I give you advice. I'm experiencing this. This is not quite an advice. This is a clarity of the matter. You look at it and say, you're right. Okay? But an advice is something that you don't quite understand. And say, just believe me. Just take my advice. I know and you do not know. Because that which needs to be articulated cannot be articulated. Right? You cannot articulate it. And even if it's articulated, you're not going to understand it. For example, if someone gives an advice at this matter to the father of the woman and says, please, just don't get in the way of this. Do you want to get back to it? They love each other. Okay. Now, how do you understand love? How you understand love? You don't quite understand, because it's manifested in many different ways. So the way you see it, there is no love in here. But the way they see it, there is love in there. How? You don't understand it. And you'll never understand it. But they understand it. So you have to stay away from that. There was an issue, a problem with husband and wife and so forth. And then the matter became hot and voices raised and so forth. and between the husband and wife, as people were sitting and so forth. And the one from the side of the wife coming for a rescue, right? Coming for a rescue, like to protect, the one that he's taking care of, right? So he's you should not do this and that, and got involved and so forth with her against him. After he said a few words, she turned to him and says, "You get out of it." Okay? In other words, there is something else going in there that you don't detect. But they understand it and they know it because they know each other very well. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying this here. Be careful. When they want to make up, don't get involved. Even though the divorce actually happened. Okay? So we can understand it. Yes, before the period is done, the husband still have the power, right? Can bring her back. But now that's out of his hand now. Okay? Because they insisted, they are both of them hard-headed, and both of them love each other so much. And they cannot separate from one another. But they are hard-headed. Okay? The time is over. Huh? Are you going to this? No, yes, the time is over. It's going to be over. Let it be over. And so forth. And now it is over. And now both of them are crying. Because their hard-headedness brought them into this. And they cannot stay away from one another. They cannot imagine life without one another. And now you don't understand any of this. And you're coming in and as the one who's going to rescue things. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no, do not do this if you believe believe in Allah and the day of judgment. That is very scary. So you don't understand it, stay without understanding. It is okay. It is okay. But just take the advice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this. Continue, inshallah.
Is there a question or later?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I think the one you very correctly mentioned that there are some situation happen everywhere that some scholar, you're a scholar, they are also scholars. Some scholar, they were explaining that this is a kind of bullet thing. Once you get out the bullet, like talaq, then you cannot take it back.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
so both husband and wife, they want to get united again, but these people in the middle, they are so hostile
Yes.
that they don't let them to reconcile or get together again. So they were going further that even though they were approaching that it was happened due to our heated argument and so on. So now we realize that it was a mistake. We want to come back. But this middleman or middle scholar,
Yes.
they are kind of such a stumble block.
They come for the rescue and they come for instead of rescue, the destruction.
Yeah,
Yes.
destruction. So
Yes.
I think this is a very painful situation.
Yes, it is.
Especially in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, in this region.
Yeah.
I think he's referring to the one thing that I also have a question.
You want to use the microphone because people would like to listen to this, inshallah.
So is this ayah? So is this ayah talking about the third divorce? Like if the divorce happened and then
No.
it's not talking about third one, right?
No, it's the first or second.
Oh, okay.
Because after the first or second, you still, she's eligible now to get married to him if he offers, a new contract, a new marriage, and so forth, the mahar and so forth.
But here it is saying that the period is over, right? It's saying
Yeah, the period is over. Yes.
So the first and second is before period, he can take back, right? I did not understand.
No, okay. The first divorce happened. there are 3 periods. He can take her back without a contract, without a new contract.
Got it.
Can take her back. Nobody else is involved in this at all. He decides you are my wife again. Okay, he touches her. Khalas, the matter is done. She's back. She's
Okay,
his wife.
got it. But yeah.
But now, if the 3 menses are over, and that was one divorce, now they are no longer husband and wife.
Okay.
Okay, but they can get back together with a new contract. He can marry her again.
Okay.
So
This is
paid-
between first and 2. He can do that.
Yes,
They can do that.
Yeah.
But after third, they cannot do
they
this.
cannot do that.
So new nikah.
Yes, yes.
And how long it can go? Like they can do it after a year or
Immediately,
no immediately, but how? I mean, anytime after that, like
anytime
year,
at all.
2, 3, 4 years,
Anytime,
anytime.
anytime at all. Yeah.
There's no limit.
No, no.
I have
Okay, تفضل.
in Sahih Bukhari, about this ayah, there is an explanation, and they have given an example of Maqal bin Yasar. And, he says that a man came asking for his sister's marriage, and then he said okay. And after a while, that man gave the talaq. So, and iddat passed away, So when the iddat passed away, that talaq becomes final, And, but he still has a choice to marry her provided she agrees.
Sure.
See? So, what happened is, he came to Maqal bin Yasar again, that same man, and he said, I want to marry her, with a new contract, like you said. So, but he said no. He made he swore by Allah that I will never allow, Allah, like that. So this ayah came and said, you should not stop, marrying them. You should allow them.
Yeah.
So Maqal bin Yasar, he broke his, oath, and he gave the kafara for that, and he, make her marry again. He called him like that. So this is given in Sahih Bukhari regarding this ayah.
And this is the answer to the brothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what second.
Yeah, first and second, they can do that. But after third, no.
No, after the third one they cannot. And because after the third one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already mentioned it in that page before, right? Yes. Yes.
The example I gave last time, that in India it happens in some sects, even after third also. So,
Yeah, but it could have been there's one of one of the 3 is not a valid divorce. The 3 divorces, maybe that when he went to the scholar and asked him about his situation, and he investigated, maybe one of the divorces were not an actual divorce, according to what happened. Maybe he says, I was giving her a condition. If you do this, then you'll be you understand? Put something in there. A way out of there, and he was the opinion by saying, this one is not working. So you only give 2 divorce because the third one is not valid, or something like that. But that is because there is no way that will be 3 divorces clear like that, and then a scholar says, no, it's okay, you could go back. Yeah.
as you said, probably that factor comes into play, that husband and wife know, maybe it was not
Yes.
correct word.
And,
Yes.
and Sheikh, is the idda is the part of the divorce. Idda has to be completed, right?
Yes.
So that's probably the reason that, before idda, he took it back.
Mhm.
So that's why the first or second one is
Yes,
not
okay.
counted.
No, it's counted even if he takes her back.
It's counted, right?
It's counted.
I was about to ask that.
Yes. Yeah, yes.
Uh,
Okay, there is, how long do we have?
Uh,
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay.
Can I?
Huh?
I have one more comment regarding.
Okay, we'll have your comment and then we'll finish inshallah.
Yeah.
Tfaddal.
This, the ayah before that, you know, when he did, it is about, you know, the talaq and before the iddat expires. So husband has a right to
Right.
do it. But then ziraran, you know, like you said, that he should not be abusing this. And so that he harasses her, you know, during the iddat. As soon as the iddat, before the iddat is over, you know, he makes up with her, and his intention is to harass her. And then this is the first divorce. Then again he gives another time divorce, you know, and before the iddat is over, he would again take her and harass her so that she cannot marry anyone. If the iddat is over, then, you know, she can marry somebody else. So this is what the practice was during, before Islam, that people used to harass women like that, you know, people of Makkah, and they would just, they would do any number of times. So Allah limited it to 2 times only, like that. And that's what he says, that you should not do it with the intention. So that will be zalama nafsa. That means you are, you know, making a zulm on that, and don't make Allah's signs as, you know, jest. Don't do this. If Allah has given you the power to do this, and you are abusing that power, then you should be afraid.
Yeah,
You know, he
and
says-
earlier Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned those who
Yeah,
say that, you know, I'm not going to approach my wife anymore. Okay, that, you know, husband and wife relationship, I'll stop it. Okay, that could be used in this as well. So he can say right before the period is done, okay, I'll take you back, but then does not have any relationship with her at all. Okay, that is dirar as well. That is harm. So there are many things that a husband could do to harm his wife in this matter.
So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning, like in that ayah,
Yes.
that, you know, don't make it Allah's signs
Yeah.
as in jest, and
And
don't
remember,
abuse your
and
power.
remember, and this is a point that we did not quite talk about. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminding the husband that this is a bounty that Allah has given you. That's a point too. That is, this is a bounty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. A spouse, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about a spouse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about the ayat of Allah. The ayat of Allah that He created for you mates to get married to. This is ayah, okay? This is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. Okay? And usually, if a man or a woman does not look at their spouse from this point of view, from this gift for them from Allah, if you don't do that, it's easy for you to have, you know, to neglect things. But if you look at your spouse as this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala written for you to have, and this is the gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, you will see the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that. You'll see that this is the best thing for you. Okay? And if you reflect on it, I don't care what kind of problem it is. Okay? You know, when two husband and wife come in for issues, you know, difficulties and so forth, if you can get them to talk about the good qualities that the other person has, okay? If you can get them to that point, and they have to just sit and remember things, they will see the bounty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. Because this is a complement relationship. It has to be a complement relationship. And if they find where the complement is, then they will appreciate it. A complement meaning you needed certain things, and this spouse, Allah sends you to cover for this. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Jabbar. Al-Jabbar meaning, there could be many things, but one of the great meaning of it is the one that fixes things that are broken. Right? That cover the need that is there with giving you something that exactly fits that need. That is jabr. Like as we say, algebra. What's algebra? Is fractions, and you bring it to a whole number, right? So that is the sense. Jabira is what you put on a bone that is broken. You put a jabira on it for what? For it to heal. So when just the youth, those who are wanting, or not youth, even older people, they look to get married. They're looking to get married. Because why are you looking to get married? Because it's something that you need. For what purpose? For what? So think about the time when you were not married. Why were you looking to get married? Because of certain things, the needs that you have. And now look afterwards. Did you get what you need? Does your partner give you or has a quality to cover for your need exactly? Okay. Yes. If they think about it, yes. This is the gift. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, when you are like this, and the period is about to be over, and so forth, do not abuse this matter and think that this is a gift that Allah has given you. Now you're not just returning the gift, you're abusing the gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is
So one final comment regarding this making a jest out of Allah's ayah. It is mentioned in a riwayah that even if you are serious and you say, I am divorcing you, and there are three things is mentioned, that if you say it seriously or you say it in joke, it will happen. So that's making Allah's ayah, thing. So marriage, divorce, and rajat means taking it back. These three things, even if you said I was making fun, I was just jesting, it will happen. If you divorce your wife, in mazak mein kya bolte hain, jest, it will still happen. And if you divorce her, you take her back, it will still happen, whether in joke. So this is mentioned in the riwayah also about this.
the
Three things.
in movies now.
Huh?
In movies.
Yeah, in movies.
Okay,
Even the scholars are saying that even in the movies, in Pakistani, there was a drama in which, they were acting like husband and wife. Huh?
No, when they have,
They were actually husband and wife, and they were in the acting. So in the acting, they said, he divorced you. So the scholars said, yeah, the divorce happened, because even the thing. So
that's what I was
not
wanting
something
say.
to make
That
joke
even
of.
they get people, they say, okay, we're going to get married, and it's all an act. That's not an act. That will actually is a binding contract. Yes.
Serious.
Yes. Yes.
So if you say Quran will take down,
Huh?
it takes effect.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And even if somebody, coming in, young man coming and he says your daughter is a nice girl, this and that, she makes her good wife, I wish to marry her and so forth, and say, okay, yes, I agree, and this could be a contract as well, and as a joke like that, yeah, that's why in some customs some countries, okay, they have engagements. They have engagement, and they misunderstand what engagement is. Engagements is a period to decide you're going to get married or not. You understand? It's not a final decision. When you say I'm engaged, that means you did not quite make a decision yet. Okay? But if you decide that this is, this is something will happen, and we're just preparing that, and you say they are engaged now. Okay? What do some culture I know, in the culture that I come from, the engagement party is almost a nikah contract. Okay? Because you find them, they're coming in, and you say, we want your daughter for your, you say, yes. That's offering an acceptance. That is an offer and acceptance, right? And they said, and then he gave her something, and she accepted and put it in her hand, and put a ring, an engagement ring, and an engagement this, right? That is a mahr. Okay, so you find the engagement as if it is this is a contract of marriage. Now and then they say the engagement is broken. No, this is marriage now. Okay, so that when the engagement is broken, there has consequences, but when marriage is done, it has different consequences to this. And don't quite realize. Yeah. Allahu a'lam. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك جزاكم الله خيرا.
Yeah, in India also.
Sheikh is international. So,